Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Divine Spiritual Tarot. I am here to do shadow work. It's called reflection shadow work that I'm doing today. I gotta come back on here and say the same thing, but I don't come on here to do just tarot readings. It's part of the path. But I also do shadow work. I do shadow work because it helps me and it helps my viewers as well. Also, let's get to it. Facebook. Well, this is my book. It is called Finding Beauty and Growing In. And this is my reflection work here, my book. So I just wanted to show you what I was reading out of, okay? I hope y'all having a good week, and I hope y'all had a good weekend. So let's start. It says reflection. The problem with shadow work. Unless we do conscious work on it, the shadow is almost always a projection. That is, it is necessary, leading on someone or something else. So we do not have to take responsible for it. It says, now that we understand the basics of shadow, this is 4, shadow work 4. The basics of shadow it creates. I think it's important to embrace on what problems the shadow can manifest in our lives. I maintain our relationships before and how the shadow can influence our recreations to the people in our lives. Often we can feel as if we are letting ourselves get exposed, as if we're standing naked in front of the crowd. And it is a big of our worst sides. Remember that shadow isn't just a personality, but a rejection of our inner being. We want to take the negative projections and twist them that to the positive rejections. So, shadow work is you going within yourself and knowing your dark side and your light side, but also accepting your dark side and your light side as well. I am a tarot reader, as well as a prophet, as well as a healer, as well as an empath. But shadow work helps you to identify your shadow side, the dark side of yourself, and accepting it. The world today push that backwards, their shadow side, their dark side. They don't want the world to know. That's why it says nakedness, like you're naked in front of a crowd. Well, YouTube, I'm going to be naked in front of the crowd today, because to show you what shadow work is. I'm going to use a little bit of my life as an example to help you to see what reflection and shadow work is. So let's start, YouTube. It says, what were you like as a child? I was a good child. I was very outspoken, and that got me in a lot of trouble. This is about me. I couldn't be myself. I was always told I was wrong all the time. I couldn't be myself. I had to be like what my mother or other people wanted me to be like when I was a child. I was always told I was doing stuff wrong and things like that. But I also had to be something that I shouldn't have been. I should have been myself. So I had to push my shadow side or myself inside of myself for the better of my mother, and for the better of my family members, and for the better of other people. I'm not on here to put people out on here to put out or put my story out, but I have to tell my story because that's what the Most High God want me to do and the universe want me to do, to help others. But that's how I was when I was a kid, and I have healed myself, but that's what I had to go through when I was a child. Okay, I'm not out here to put my mother out, because my mother, she's a good person. Everybody have failures. Everybody have flaws. Everybody is not perfect, and I'm definitely not a perfect mother. Okay, at all. I went through that. I'm gonna tell you a little story about when I was a mother and what happened to me when I was like in my 17s and 18s. It's kind of personal, YouTube, but I have to put it out there so you can know what the reflection work is and within yourself. That's why I said I will be naked in front of the world today. Well, when I was 17 years old, I had kids, and my kids was taken by the state. My kids was taken by the state because they said I had a mental illness and I couldn't take care of them. But YouTube, I was homeless as well, on the streets. I had no one, but that didn't make my life to be a crush, or it didn't make my life for me to do worse things. But that's what happened to me in my life. I was homeless. I slept in abandoned buildings. I slept on benches before in the park. I slept in places that a human being should sleep at. But I was a homeless person. When you're homeless, you have nothing. You gotta take a bath in a bathroom with a towel and some soap and going into restaurants to take a bath because you have nowhere to live. But that's what happened to me. To this day, I know my children. I even know the foster mother that I gave my children up for adoption. But I had a hard life, YouTube. My life wasn't perfect. But today, I am much better. That was one of my dark sides that I had to face. It's hard to give your children up for adoption, Facebook. But they have a better life now. And they older now as well. But it was really hard for me. And it really got to me a lot. I had to forgive myself of what I did as well. But that was one of my dark sides that I wanted to tell you. Let's finish. What was your hopes and dreams? I want to be an artist as well as a good mother. I want a relationship with God. I want to help others. So those are my dreams. Is to help other people. As well as being a good mother. Being close to the Most High God. As well as being an artist. Because I am an artist as well. But those are my dreams. What was your parents and guardian and caretaker? And what was their values? My mother always told me to put God first. And my grandmother is like that too. But she is deceased today. YouTube. When I was taken away from my mother, I learned to take care of myself and my brother. It says, what is one of the things you are afraid of because of the authority figures in your life? Well, this is kind of personal, YouTube. So I'm going to keep this out. It's about my mother and things like that. And it's kind of personal, okay? So I don't want to talk about that part, okay? You know, YouTube. It's 7. How the reflection upon your shadow side. I am learning more about my shadow side. I am learning I don't have to be in relationships to love myself and to take care of myself. And I should want to do this anyway and all the time. So I'm learning, as it's saying, how was the reflection upon your shadow. I'm learning my shadow side was I used to keep myself in, because when I was a kid, my mother and other people, I couldn't be myself, my true self, around others. I had to keep myself in. And that came to me as an adult too. So I had to change that. I had to change that it's okay to be myself in front of anyone and anybody. I had to change that I don't have to be somebody else for somebody else to feel good about themselves, or for they don't take it personal. So now I'm myself. And now I learned that, but it took me some time to learn that, as well as my abandonment issues that I had, and also self-reflection, not self-reflection, but my also self-esteem issues that I had to learn. Those things I had to learn, YouTube. I'm also learning now that I can't control everything. Okay? I can't control other people and other situations, but I can control myself. And sometimes you can't even control yourself sometimes. It just comes and it goes out. But I had to learn those type of things. It goes all the way back to your childhood, that you have to look at the things that, because it comes to as an adult as well. But you have to go in your childhood to heal yourself, as well as your adulthood. But it says here, back in my past, I thought I needed someone to make me feel good about myself and my friends and lovers and family. So back in my past, I was over nice to my friends, over nice to my family members, over nice to my lovers, to try to keep them. But I found out you can't keep anyone. Even if you're being nice to that person, you can't keep them. And I over nice to keep them. I felt inside. So I kept my feelings within inside of me, because I was cool by making them feel good. And that's a downfall, YouTube. That's a shadow side. That's poor self-esteem, as well as abandonment issues as well. I felt this side, as long as they was helping me, I could be cool. So as long as they was happy, I could be cool. But I wasn't cool, YouTube. I was depressed. I was down on my luck. Some days I was so down, I was like in a pits. And when you in a dark place, you don't know and see the truth. But Spirit and my spirit guides and the Most High showed me the truth. Made me see the light. As I was saying on my other channel, you get towers. And those towers is for you to look at and do reflection work, as well as looking at why this situation is happening. I went through that. And we go through that today, a lot of us. We have to learn from our lessons. But it says, but we over nice and don't keep my friends or my family, or I still was alone. So I was still alone, even though I was nice to them. They still was taking. And I was giving. But I had to learn of the law of attraction. You can give as well as receive. I didn't know nothing about receive. I already only knew about giving. But the scales has to be balanced. You have to. That's how the scales balance. Receiving and also giving. 8. If you could say one thing to the shadow, what would it be? I would say to my shadow, thank you for helping me see. So I can accept my ego, my failures, so I can know what they are and working on them. Thank you for helping me heal my inner childhood wounds and changing them for the better. So that's what I would say to my shadow side. I wonder what you would say to your shadow side, YouTube. If the shadow has received and given you grief, can you find a reason to forgive it? Yes, I can, but it will take time to heal it. It says, what would you like to do to be known for? I would like to be known as a person that helps people heal their dark side. That's by understanding it and accepting it. So I want y'all to understand your dark side. You have to accept it and understand it as well. And identify it, and don't be ashamed of it. I don't come on here just for you to know your dark side and your light side of shadow work. I come on here for you not to be ashamed of your shadow work. I mean, not shadow work, but your dark side. Everyone has a dark side, YouTube. Everyone has failures in this life. But what is wrong with today is they hide them. They hide their failures. They hide their dark side. And they hide their true self. And that is a downfall. Everybody has an ego. Everybody has low self-esteem, abandonment issues. But you have to identify it. And it took me a while to identify it. But that's what I came on here for reflection work. And reflection work is you looking within yourself and knowing what is your dark side. Everyone has one. As well as a light side as well. That is the yin and the yang. But I wanted to show you that. But then I have another book I wanted to show y'all. And this will be my last little bit for you guys. This is called The Purpose of Driven of Life. So I wanted to, show you a couple of little things on here. And then I'll be on my merry way. I go through this book too. So we're going to do chapter 1 in this book. Hold on, is it chapter 1 I wanted to do, or 2? Yeah. So, chapter 2 is, you are not a accident. See that? Yeah. It says, you are not an accident. I am your creator. You were in my care even before you were born. Israel 44:2. God doesn't play dice. So God doesn't play dice. It says you are not an accident. You was born. Your birth. Yeah, you are not an accident. Your birth was no mistake or miss. Your life is a no fleek of nature. Your parents may not have planned you, but God did. He was not at all surprised by your birth. In fact, he expected it. Long before you were convicted by your parents, long before you was conceived by your parents, you was conceived in the mind of God. He thought of you first. And it is not a failure nor a change or luck or a condition that you are breathing at this very moment. You are alive because of God and want to create you. The Bible says, the Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Long before you was convicted as well. So, y'all are not an accident in this world. YouTube. You're here for a purpose. You're here for the Most High Universe, God, and you're here for a purpose that God wants you to do. My purpose is to let you know about your shadow self. But as well, my purpose is also to help me. It helps me to do these things too as well. Because doing your shadow work and doing your shadow self and looking within yourself, it makes you a better person for others, but also for yourself. And I have so rarely said this. I don't come on here just for tarot readers. I come on here to help many and many people in their households that goes through so many obstacles in life. That they push their shadow self and then they put on masks. And I have seen so many people put on masks, and I was one of them, YouTube. But I don't wear a mask anymore. I'm my true self. And I love being me. I love being Jaco, because that's my name, Jaco. I love getting up in the morning, enjoying life. Now, back in the past, I didn't. But I do now. And it takes a while to heal. It takes a while to do shadows. It takes a while to find out who you are within yourself. It's a journey. Even your true friends will show you that. But I'm not going to take a long time on here, YouTube. But I just wanted to tell y'all about reflection work. I'll be on here probably in another month or so. Not month or so, but another month. To tell you about another shadow self. But thank you for coming on Divine Spiritual Tarot. Y'all take care of yourselves. Y'all fill your own cup. You love yourselves. And I hope y'all have a good week. And do not cover yourself up for anyone. Be your true self. Bye, YouTube. Talk to you later.